Today we're going to be going through income tax, and this is for grade 12s, either writing the NEC or the IEB exams. I'm going to be doing different types of questions based on the income tax worksheet, and I will do them as separate videos, so you'll see number 1, 2, 3, and 4 at shorter videos. So let's start with the first question. Summer is 33 years old and earns a monthly salary of 36,000 as well as 2,600 Rand of allowances. She pays 20% of her monthly salary towards her pension fund. Calculate her tax payable for the year. So we're going to start off with her gross salary. So here we're looking at her basic salary as well as any allowances that she might have. So we will start off with her gross salary, which is her basic salary of 36,000 plus her allowance. Now you're going to get taxed on any allowances that you have. So if we add the two together, we're going to get 38,600. And then they tell you that, and then when you work with your table, your income tax table, your salary has to be an annual salary. It cannot be a monthly salary, and this is stating here that this is monthly. So we need to work out her annual salary. So her annual salary will be 38,600 times 12. Okay, so 38,600 times 12, and that gives me 463,200. Okay, now we're going to work out her pension. So her pension, if you read the question, is 20% of her monthly salary. That does not include the allowance. So we're going to have 20% of her monthly salary, which is 36,000. And then we have to multiply that amount by 12 because we're going to be working with an annual salary. So here we will have 86,400. Now, when you're working out your taxable income, you're going to make a note for yourself so that you remember this. So for your taxable income, you will have, it is basically going to be your annual salary subtract. So you take out your pension. Okay. And the amount that you get left with, that is the amount that is going to be taxed. So here we have 463,200 subtract 86,400. Okay, so let's subtract that. So 463,200 subtracts 86,400. Okay, then I end up with 376,800. Okay, and then here you are now going to work out, you're going to refer to your tax table. So at this point, you're going to look at your tax table, and because I don't have much space here, I'm just going to do it on the right hand side. So if we go and we look at our tax table, we're looking at this amount here, and we go up to our tax table, and we look for the bracket in which this amount falls within. And we know that it's 376. So if it's 376, we're going to be looking at that tax bracket. And so we're going to write that part out. So here, I'm going to write 73,726 plus 31% of the amount above. Now, if we're talking about above, we basically want to remember that we need to subtract. We're going to take our 376,800. So basically 376,800, subtract the 353,100. So we subtract the two, and then the amount that it is above that, we're going to use that amount. So basically it's going to be, let's work that out, 376,800 subtract 353,100, and that gives me 23,700. So you are going to be taxed on the amount above 353,100, which is this amount. So you must do the subtraction. So basically you're going to find the difference between these two, that amount and the amount below, okay? And then let's work that out. So we have 73,726,000 plus 31% times 23,700. Okay, and I end up with 81,073 rand. Now that's the tax that I'm going to be paying for the year. So what we do is, at this point, we go and we look at this part of our tax table. So now we're going to be looking at what do we notice here? So we notice that this has a rebate. So I want you to take a note of the rebate and the fact that this person is 33 years old. If they're 33 years old, they're below 65, and therefore they're going to get a rebate of 16,422. So what we do at this point, we are going to subtract the rebate. So just make a note for yourself. Subtract the rebate. This is according to your age. So here we're going to have 81,073 subtract 16,425. So you're going to follow these steps. It could be a different amount because each year the tax table changes. So therefore the amounts will change, but the steps will stay the same. So we end up with 64,648. Now this question says, find the taxable income for the year. If it says per month, then you're going to divide by 12. And you will notice that this particular question has not mentioned anything about whether this person pays towards a medical aid. So therefore, we did not subtract our medical aid tax credits. But I am going to do a question further down along in the next video, and that will explain that one. I hope you found this useful. Please like and subscribe and follow me on my next video.